Hello everyone, Don with Resolute Outdoors here. Today I'm going to add another addition into my neglected series, sadly neglected, of Resolute Reads. Today we're going to go over a book I read, I believe, last summer. It is A Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis. Now the book isn't this big. This is a collection of a bunch of his books. It's actually a pretty short book overall. But essentially, we'll go over who C.S. Lewis is a little bit. Predominantly known for the Chronicles of Narnia, I believe, and also some of his theological and philosophical readings, writings, some, listed here. Mere Christianity being the most popular one. Now, Grief Observed really is about the death of his wife, Helen, referred to, I believe, as H in the book. And it's basically his, I think, private journals kind of working through the process, and then actually, putting them together later and putting them into a book form. Now, A Grief Observed is really an interesting book because if you've not read C.S. Lewis before, he really has an interesting and a really awesome way of kind of explaining complex things in ways that are really easy to understand. The only kind of difficulties you may be is because he was British or English. Maybe some of the words and the terminology uses is slightly different, but I don't think it's difficult for most people to kind of make those connections. But in general, he can put complex, thoughts and ideas in simple language and making something easy to learn. So as he kind of goes through this grief process and kind of works through it on pen and paper, you can kind of work through those emotions as well. Now, if you've ever had someone close to you that you've lost, he kind of puts words to emotions or to feelings that you really didn't have before. Going through this book, there was a lot of times where I felt like, oh, that makes sense, or like I felt that before, or something along those lines, where like you just couldn't put it into words that way, or you just didn't understand it in the kind of clear, concise way I think that he can put it in the way that C.S. Lewis is really good at. And being able to do that, I think, can kind of take like this big ball of emotions, of sadness, of grief that you're going through, and kind of untangle a little bit and see that, like, hey, these are all like, natural, real things that are really a terrible thing has happened to you. You've lost someone important, or something terrible has happened to a loved one or a friend or family. So being able to kind of like untangle that ball of emotions that's kind of in your heart, I think can kind of give you a better mastery of it. Whenever you can align what's like in your heart with how you think about something and in your brain, I think you get a better sense of mastery and control over the situation, and then you can feel at least more at ease about it. You can feel those emotions more fully and kind of work through them instead of being like a toddler that's angry or that's hungry and just angry, but they don't know why they're angry. Not anger in this case, maybe anger in this case for some grief, but being able to work through those emotions and actually know what kind of ails you, I think, is really awesome and really important, and a nice thing about this book. And it's so short. It's kind of one of those things that I really would recommend if you get it, to buy it, or if you want to read it, to buy it, because it's kind of like almost something that I feel like you could revisit every time something terrible happens. Like if you have a close loved one die close to you, or a close friend, you can pick this book up off the shelf and kind of journey with C.S. Lewis through his emotions, and at the same time kind of through your emotions as well. So really kind of that like reference text aspect of it, I think, is really, really important and really nice to have as well. Overall, I'm not really going to give it any sort of like scaling or grading, but it's not like like a literary classic in the sense that it's like some great story or something like that, but it really is super practical, super useful, a tool that I think you should have in your toolbox, especially if books are something that you look to for enjoyment or comfort. Being able to have that in a book form, I think, is nicer than a video form if you prefer books over videos or movies or something like that. So that's kind of my kind of quick review of A Grief Observed. I would say, like, pick it up. Maybe get a book collection like this if you want. This has been a pretty nice set. Kind of a separate review on that, I guess, but pretty nice set overall. I think everybody like $64.34 for it. So get a lot of books for the price. I think it's a good deal if you want to get something like this. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Don with Resolute Outdoors. Please let me know down below if you've read A Grief Observed, and if so, If so, what you think about it and if it's helped you. Until next time, I'll see you.